any portfolio I hold has a reward of 0.15 per week. How many portfolios of these three assets do you think I can make that actually has that kind of return? So this is what I want. I want 0.15% equal weight of SPY times expected return of SPY, weight of GLD times and plus 1 minus so there are two things that I do not know, right? Because I know the average returns. If I knew the weights of SPY and GLD, weight of the bond ETF is automatically determined. How many different combinations of those two weights would solve that equation, do you think? And I have no restriction on the weights. They could be positive, negative, greater than 1. A negative weight means you're shorting that asset. A weight of above 1 means you're buying that asset on margin. So what do you think? The answer is infinitely many, okay? This is a linear equation, one linear equation in two unknowns. There are infinitely many solutions for those unknowns. Infinitely many combinations of would solve that equation. Now let's go back to that concept of an inefficient portfolio. Would you ever want to hold an inefficient portfolio? If you do, let's trade a little bit. Because you know there exists another portfolio out there that has higher return and lower risk. So why would you hold an inefficient portfolio, right? So among the portfolios that yield 0.15% per week, well, you want to hold the one that has the lowest risk. Because by definition, all the others are inefficient. Even the one with the lowest risk may be inefficient. That's we don't know yet, but we do know for sure that all the other solutions have returns that are the same but higher risk. And if I have two portfolios, both of them yield the same, I'm going to always pick the one that has lower risk. Hence, we will solve for the set of weights that has the least risk. We will do this, I mean, algebraically, this is not a complicated problem, but it requires me to use matrix algebra, which we're not going to do here. We will do this using Excel's solver add-in. Solver add-in doesn't come pre-installed with Excel. It should be, but it's not. Unlike GoalSeek. If you're doing this for your own computer, you're going to do this only once. If you're doing this with the computers here, you're going to have to do it every time. Go to File, Options, down around here, click the add-ins. At the bottom of the screen to the left, you're going to have Excel add-ins. Hit Go. Make sure that Solver add-in is checked. Once you do that, under the Data tab, at the very end, you should have a Solver button. You don't have it? You guys all have it? Okay. Now, let's kind of do a little bit of setup. I'm gonna write reward here. For now, I'm gonna use average weekly for reward. Reward of the average return of the portfolio itself, given the set of weights. Risk is the standard deviation of the portfolio. Actually, I'm going to make that green. That's my desired reward, okay? And let me do something here that says difference. Actually, let me grab the difference here. The difference between the actual reward and my target reward. I need to make that blue. Okay. Now, I'm going to ask Excel the following question. Among the portfolios that have a return of 15%, 0.15%, which set of these two weights is going to give me the least amount of risk? So under the Data tab, go to Solver. It has a few things that we have to put in. The first one is objective. My objective is the risk, okay? What do I want to do with that risk? I want to minimize it. And I'm going to do that how? By finding out what those free set of weights should be. Are there any constraints? Yes. I want this cell, which is the difference between the actual return and my target return, to be equal to 0. I could also say actually greater than or equal to 0. But no, I'm going to say equal to 0. Add. Oh, okay. I already added it. By default, it says make unconstrained variables non-negative. I don't want that. I want them to take any value they could. Later, we could put constraints on them. And hit solve. It found a solution. It basically says, if you want a return of 0.15%, again, using past as a guide, the portfolio that's 46% in S&P 500, 35% in gold, 19% in bonds has the least risk if that's your target return. Okay. Around here somewhere, we're gonna do some sort of chart. Let me actually make this a bit smaller. We're gonna build a chart like this. Here it's gonna be on the horizontal axis. I'm gonna plot the risk. On the vertical axis, I'm gonna plot the reward. Okay. So for each level of targeted reward, I'm gonna find the minimum risk achievable. I'm sorry, reward is, and the risk that can be, the minimum risk that can be achieved, copy that and just paste the values. Actually paste formats as well.